Hello everyone, welcome back to another forecast update. Major Hurricane Melissa is getting closer and closer to Jamaica and is now at Category 4 status with 145 mile per hour winds and is at a 933 millibar low pressure. This storm is going to continue to move westward before making the turn to the north and potentially making a landfall into Jamaica sometime on Tuesday. So we'll look at the cone here in just a moment, and then we'll also take a look at the latest warnings and watches we have. And then after that, we'll take a look at the latest model guidance and compare that as well. First, starting out with the latest warnings and watches. So all of Jamaica is under a hurricane warning at this time. And then as we move up towards Cuba and into Cuba, we have hurricane warnings up for quite a bit of eastern Cuba and also tropical storm warnings up as well. And then for the southwestern Haiti Peninsula, we also have hurricane watches up and tropical storm warnings up as well. The National Hurricane Center expects this storm to make a landfall into Jamaica as a Category 5 major hurricane, once again sometime on Tuesday. And then after it crosses over Jamaica, it will weaken just slightly and potentially make a landfall into eastern Cuba as either a Category 4 or 3 hurricane before continuing on kind of to the northeast and then into the Southern Bahamas as well. And then after that, it will probably go on out to sea, but then Bermuda is under the gun, and we don't have a lot of confidence as to if Bermuda is going to be impacted by this storm. But still, impacts are going to be expected outside of the cone here, well into Haiti, even into the Turks and Caicos Islands as we go over the next few days. Now taking a look at the latest 4-day rainfall forecast from the National Hurricane Center. And so this starts pretty much now and goes through October 31st on Halloween. And so if we take a look here first at Jamaica, there are just going to be catastrophic levels of rain dumped into Jamaica and especially into eastern Jamaica. Areas could potentially see up to 40 inches of rain, and that is well over 700, 800 millimeters of rain into those areas, and then even into western Jamaica as well. Those areas could see even 6 to 8 to 12 inches, or well over 150 millimeters of rain. As we look towards Hispaniola and Haiti, these areas could see even up to 16 inches of rain, as well into isolated areas into the southwestern peninsula, and also well over 200 millimeters of rain into the southern really southwestern areas of Hispaniola, and then into the Dominican Republic. Those areas could also see 8 to 12 inches or 200 to 300 millimeters of rain. And then also into the northern sections of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Those areas could also see 1 to 2, even 2 to 4 inches of rain. Then taking a look at Cuba as well, areas could see up to 16 and even 20 inches of rain into eastern Cuba. A pretty large area right there could see that amount, and that is equivalent to at least 300, 400, even 500 millimeters of rain. And then also into the even east central areas of Cuba could see at least a few inches of rain. And then as we get to the Southern Bahamas, a good bit of these Southern Bahamas could receive at least a few inches to even 6, almost 8 inches of rain, and even isolated accumulations up to a foot in those areas. And then even into the Turks and Caicos Islands, they could see even 2 to 4 inches into the western part of the islands. Now we're going to be quickly looking at the potential wind gusts using the European weather model. So as you can see here, here's Jamaica, and so we'll go to about 3 hours from now, and so a good bit of Jamaica is already receiving some heavy rain and also some pretty strong winds from this, especially into the southern half of Jamaica. As we go into Monday morning, and then as we go to about midday tomorrow on Monday, a good bit of the southern and southwestern areas of Jamaica will be seeing wind gusts of over 40 and 50 miles per hour. Even as we go into Monday evening, Monday night, we also have areas into Haiti could potentially be seeing, we'll back this up a little bit, could be seeing some wind gusts from this even tomorrow morning, especially into Haiti and even potentially southwestern areas of the Dominican Republic, but mostly Haiti at this point in time. But as we go into tomorrow evening, on Monday, tomorrow night, we could see some very strong winds from Melissa start to impact the southwestern part of Jamaica and really Jamaica as a whole as well. Wind gust well over 90 and even over 100 miles per hour in those areas. Just a devastating scenario that could potentially unfold here as we go into Tuesday morning, very early Tuesday morning. Wind gusts well over 80, 90 miles per hour into these areas, and even into the eastern sections of Jamaica could potentially see 40 and 50 mile per hour wind gust. Then as we go into Tuesday midday, that's when Haiti is going to be receiving some more wind gusts from this storm, and that's also why they have tropical storm warnings up as well. And then as we look at Cuba here, eastern Cuba, wind gusts could be around the 40, 30 mile per hour range as we get into really Tuesday evening and afternoon and evening, excuse me. And then as we go into Tuesday, later on in Tuesday evening and then into Tuesday night, those wind gusts will be pretty strong as well, 40, 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts into the eastern areas of the island. And then as we go further into Wednesday morning, we could potentially see 50, 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts on the far eastern edges and on the coastal areas of Cuba. And then further going into Wednesday morning, we're going to go past this a little bit quicker because we're not too certain on potential wind impacts for the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos at this time, but still wind gusts at least over 40 and 50, even 60 miles per hour possible into the Southern Bahamas, and then even into the Turks and Caicos Islands as well. At least I would say 20, 30, maybe even 40 mile per hour wind gusts possible there as well. And then beyond that, we have to figure that out because there's a lot of uncertainty with potential impacts even as we get later on into this upcoming week. Finally, to end the video, we'll be looking at a few of the hurricane models. So to begin, we'll look at the latest 18Z HRF model we have from today. And so as we go to about right now, and about 3 hours from now, we can see the HRF model wants to show this storm getting a little bit further to the west compared to what the National Hurricane Center suggests, but still the idea remains the same, as it could still impact Jamaica and make a landfall there. But into western Jamaica, this has this system just clipping the edge of it and then moving past Jamaica and then towards Cuba as we would get into about midday Tuesday. And then as we go into Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, it gets it into Cuba, dumps a pretty large amount of rain there, and then it's still impacting portions of Haiti maybe sometime late Tuesday night. And then as we go into Wednesday morning, continues to cross over and move north of Cuba, goes into the Southern Bahamas as we get into midday Wednesday, and then finally goes on out to sea by late Wednesday, early on Thursday. Now, if we take a look at the HMON model as well, we'll go to about 8 p.m. So this honestly verifies, to me at least, it verifies pretty well with what the actual strength of the system is right now. So we'll look at this model a little bit closer. So it gets us into a 920, 925, 927, 931, and it has it landfalling as about a 938 millibar storm, which is still category 4 status as we get into very early very early on Tuesday, not tomorrow, very early on Tuesday. And then it has that crossing over Jamaica as we get into Tuesday morning, dumps a lot of rain there, get into Tuesday afternoon and evening, makes that second landfall into eastern Cuba and dumps a lot of rain there. Also dumps some rain into Haiti, those outer rain bands, and then moves it into the Bahamas as still maybe a category 1 hurricane by this point, and then finally gets on out to sea. We look at the HFS-A model and look at the HFS-B model to end it off. We take a look at this model as well. We go into early tomorrow on Monday, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and it has this as a 922 millibar storm, which is probably almost a category 5 status, and then finally gets it relived to about a category 5 hurricane, a very strong hurricane, and makes a landfall as around a 910 millibar storm. which is well into Category 5 status Tuesday morning, and then goes over across Jamaica, still as a very strong storm, and then heads towards eastern Cuba. Then as we get into late Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, it is still at least a Category 2, probably a Category 3, or even a low end Category 4 hurricane by this point. Gets it into the Southern Bahamas by midday Wednesday as still a Category 2 hurricane probably by this point, and then finally gets it on out to sea. Finally, we'll look at the HFS-B model to end it off here. So we'll take this forward here, go the next few hours, go into tomorrow early morning hours, gets this into a 916, 913, 914, 915, and makes a landfall as about a 915 millibar low pressure Tuesday morning. Then gets that across Jamaica there, dumps a lot of rain, goes into eastern Cuba, hits eastern Cuba at least as a strong Category 3 hurricane, and then moves that across Cuba there, and then continues into the Southern Bahamas as still maybe a Category 2 or even Category 3 hurricane, and then gets that on out to sea potentially late Wednesday night into early on Thursday. So that's the latest we have with the hurricane models, and this may be the last update I'm able to make before we get a landfall into Jamaica. But continue to stay weather aware with this system. It's going to be a very dangerous storm. I'll be praying for everyone affected by this storm. But that'll be it for today's update. I appreciate all of y'all tuning in, and I really do appreciate all the support with the latest, or really my last update that I had just the other day. I hope y'all have a great night and continue to stay safe.